We're conditioned to treat life like a rigid, time-sensitive checklist. Graduate by a certain age, reach a specific salary bracket, secure the perfect relationship. We assume the only way to hit those milestones is through relentless hustle. We plan every detail and micromanage every step, convinced that if we just exert enough force, reality will eventually bend to our will. But this creates a frustrating paradox. Trying to aggressively control every tiny detail doesn't guarantee success. It generates profound exhaustion. The harder you pull, the tighter the knot becomes, and the outcomes you want actually slip further out of reach. You see this happen when someone fires off hundreds of job applications in a panic, or in relationships where someone tries too hard to impress a new partner. That frantic, grasping energy often acts as a natural repellent. The Stoic philosophers recognized this trap centuries ago. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius understood that wrestling the universe into submission is a losing game. They realized that ultimate power doesn't come from dominating the world around you. It comes from knowing exactly where to apply your effort and when to completely let go. Epictetus's dichotomy of control separates the world into two categories. On the left, what we manage, mindset and actions. On the right, everything else. There's a massive difference. You own the effort of crafting an application, but you cannot dictate the hiring manager's decision. This leads to the first major mechanic of Stoic philosophy, detachment. Tying your self-worth to specific outcomes outside your control invites constant anxiety. Consider an artist standing in front of a blank canvas. If they spend the entire time obsessing over how an imaginary critic will judge the finished piece, they become creatively paralyzed. But when the artist ignores the final result and focuses purely on the physical act of painting, they enter deep immersion. The work flows effortlessly. The goal is to untether your happiness from those unpredictable results. Anchor it instead to the discipline and quality of your daily actions. By removing the mental friction of worrying about the end result, you preserve your energy for the work itself. This brings us to the second mechanic, aligned action. Aristotle spoke of eudaimonia, where actions are driven by deliberate purpose, not sudden panic. Actions born of fear and scarcity are scattered and frantic. Actions born of clarity and abundance are grounded, steady, and intentional. Think of a chessboard. A panicked beginner reacts impulsively to minor threats, making careless mistakes. A patient master acts with a long-term strategy, absorbing pressure without losing focus. That patience requires our third mechanic, trusting natural timing. Trying to force your preferred timeline against reality's inherent rhythm only creates destructive resistance. A farmer can prepare the soil, plant the seeds, and provide water, but violently yanking on a stem will not force a crop to grow faster. Growth happens at its own pace. The Stoic thinker Seneca viewed delays and difficulties not as permanent failures, but as essential resistance training. Just as lifting weights builds physical strength, enduring frustration trains the mind to be resilient. True progress accelerates only when we align our efforts with reality's natural rhythm, instead of fighting a losing battle against time. Living this way means moving away from the belief that there isn't enough to go around, and training yourself to recognize the opportunities that are constantly regenerating. When you view the world through this lens, a missed deadline or a rejected application no longer feels like a catastrophe. It acts as a redirection toward a more suitable path. Popular culture often defines ambition and confidence as the ability to guarantee exactly how your future will play out. That is an impossible requirement that will always leave you stressed. The Stoic definition of true confidence is an unshakable trust in your internal capacity to handle whatever outcome occurs. Fiercely execute everything within your control. Abandon the exhausting illusion that you can micromanage the universe. Once you do, you allow life to finally flow.